What's going on, Panthers Nation? It is Aaron Duncan here with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk, bringing you recap and analysis of the Carolina Panthers. Like I said, I start off every video by saying, "What up, dude?" It is a post-game presser. I've been gone for a minute. Work kept me busy. I was on the road for a week. I'm not in a great mood. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know the Panthers loss really bothered me, but that Cowboys loss hurt me even worse. I had a lot of money. Had a lot of money potentially on the game to win. But the Cowboys cost me bread. They cost me some bread, so I'm not happy overall. My team lost. My sports book endeavors took losses as well. This is not a good day. A no good, very bad day actually. But we got a lot of things to talk about. This is a game. This is a game that was very interesting. I was really excited about this game because I was curious to see what we would look like without Bryce Young. And we got a glimpse into how things went offensively. We're going to talk about that, just the differences between what we saw with Bryce and what we saw with Andy today. We're going to talk about the defense, of course. We got to talk about these injuries that decimated our defense as well. A lot of things to talk about, man. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me go ahead and get in these comments. My boy Antoine, what up, though? Man, let me make that bigger. Make that bigger. What up, though? You can't handle the truth. What up, though? Miguel, what up, though? Panthers are kings. What up, though, brother? Appreciate you tuning in, man. Gray Matters, what up, though? Omar, what up, though? Got the people tuning in. Got my people tuning in. Aaron Zinnerman said it's over for us, though. Said it's Jover. Y'all make sure y'all get a video a thumbs up. Pretty please and thank you. Today was an interesting game, but go ahead, get that video a thumbs up. Stop what you're doing, get a video a thumbs up. Austin Wright, what up, though? Y'all get the video a thumbs up. We got 78 people tuning in. I really appreciate y'all spending the time and tuning in. What up, Nick? What up, though? Y'all appreciate y'all tuning in. Give the video a thumbs up. Take about 2 seconds. Chill Blaine, what up, though? David Barber said, go Lions. I mean, they beat the Falcons, but it ain't really helped much. Made for more, what up, though? Said, my guy, what up, though? 910, what up, though? 910 all the time, what up, though? Well, 910, my bad. It's an area code. I gotta read the room better. J Rock, what up, though? Now y'all tuning in with the what up, though. I can't turn it down. Austin Wright, what up, though? All right, man. So, do I think Wright will give up play calling? Who knows? Who knows? Sideburn, what up, though? I think a lot of we're in an interesting spot. I got a couple things to talk about. I'm talking about the offense, the defense. I'm talking about the special teams. I'm talking about the coaching. And I'm going to talk about some things that really bother me and some things that we could potentially build on. You know? And it might step on some toes. It might hurt some feelings. It may not be what you want to hear, but it's probably what you need to hear. That's why this channel is called The Necessary Bluntness. Dan Floyd, what up, though? Jay Issue, what up, though? He said Caldwell and Capers collecting Social Security. Hey, man. Y'all gotta respect the elders and the OGs, man. Come on, man. Y'all can't be talking about the OG, triple OGs. I mean, I don't know what they're doing technically. I'm not in that coach. I'm not on 800 Mint Street. I don't know what they're doing exactly. I'm not. I know what they've done in the past. So I'm wondering what's going on. And I haven't talked to y'all all week because I was out of town for work. I was in Denver for work. So I really didn't have a chance to get the film breakdowns, the extra breakdowns. I apologize for that. I was on the road pretty much Monday through Friday. So I got some things to get off my chest. The thing is, We have an all-star coaching staff. And I know a lot of y'all, why do you call it an all-star coaching staff? Why do you call it all-star? Their resume. their resume is why it's an all-star coaching staff. Like, I don't understand why. I understand y'all want to second guess the coaching, and that's fine. But you can't act like they don't have a resume. That's why it's called an all-star coaching staff. Like, let's not be naive. Let's not be dense, whatever. Let's not be whatever it is. This coaching staff has a resume of experience. Now, the guy at the top and Frank Wright, that's to be debated. And what is the order of operations? I don't think it's anything like too many cooks in the kitchen, you know what I'm saying? Like too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. I don't think it's one of those scenarios. I think it's a matter of everybody has accomplishments and everybody has respect for each other. I don't think it's toxic to the point that Frank Wright is just being the be-all, end-all. He's closing a book on certain decisions. He has the final say on most of the coaching moves and stuff. I think he consults with some of the coaches. Like, I think he leans on Ejiro with the defense. I don't think he's hands-on with the defense at all. At all. O-line, I think he leans on Campen 90% and then makes the decision 10% of the times, but he's going to lean on Campen. Campen is a trusted coach. But I just think from a philosophical standpoint, Thomas Brown, he's constructed the playbook. But it's just weird. I know the discussion had been like, okay, hey, like, why you want to get some different guys? Like, why would I let you do the grocery shopping, but me be in charge of cooking the meal? Because if Thomas Brown built this playbook, it's tough to see, even though it's a collaborative approach, it's tough to see that Frank Wright is the one that's calling the plays. Because I think and people are like, it's not going to be much different if Thomas Brown calls plays. I disagree. Now, is he just going to come out and just kill it and be the next great under 40 hot shot Sean McVay disciple? Maybe, maybe not. But I just think that from a philosophical standpoint, you have a personality that you put on when you call plays. Because most concepts, pass plays, run plays, most of them are the same across the NFL. There's not a ton of new concepts that are invented on a year-to-year basis. And when they do get invented, most teams copycat it. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're coaching trees for a reason. You take philosophies and you mix it up yourself. So I just think that a lot of it has to do with a personality standpoint. Because Frank may be calling plays on a scenario basis of, okay, third and short, these are the plays we like. For third and medium, second and medium. But Thomas could be thinking, okay, hey, we have these type of plays, but I may run this stuff to set up other things. Window dressing, gimmicks, motions. You're gonna run jet motion with Mingo a million times. But if you don't give Mingo that end around handoff, why would the defense respect it? You got to give that handoff ever so often to Mingo on that end around if you're going to keep running that jet motion in the backfield to try to fool the defense. You know, certain things have to set up things in the future. That's why play action is literally the base of that. Play action is I ran the ball so good. I set you up by faking the handoff, but really passing it. That's the simplest form of using play calling and one thing to set up the other. But it feels like sometimes we just run plays aimlessly. Our players don't set up anything else. There's no rhyme or reason to the plays we call. And it may work and it may not. But I just think with the lack of talent that we have, you're not going to line up and out execute teams in this league like most opponents that we have. You have to use gimmicks. You have to use window dressing. You have to use some trick plays every so often. You have to be very, very creative. And I thought that's what we would do because I see guys like Doug Peterson do it, who Frank Wright worked under. I see Andy Reid, who both of those guys who Doug Peterson worked under. I see Sean McVay doing it, who Thomas Brown worked under. Bryce Young is a very creative quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but in terms of off scripts type of things, doing uncanny sidearm type of energy type of thing, that's the type of creativity you can lean into. And that takes me to the offense, because a lot of people had questions. They were like, if Andy Dalton comes out here and starts playing good, do they keep Bryce on the bench? Does it expose Bryce that he's a bust? Does it do this, that, and the third? No, because from a wholesale perspective, we still didn't run the ball this week. Offensive line was still shaky. Those are two constants that are hard to overcome. And the play calling was at times as well. A lot of people are asking why Andy Dalton looked good today, but Bryce Young didn't look anything like this. I'm going to tell you right now. Andy Dalton's been in the league for a very long time. Andy Dalton was drafted in the same draft class as Cam Newton. Very experienced. 10 years of experience. Most of it has been starting. And when he wasn't starting, he played a lot that season. I don't think there's ever been a scenario where Andy Dalton came in behind a rookie quarterback and did not play. I'm thinking Fields. I'm thinking us now. I mean, in the Saints, he wasn't no rookie, but he played solid and alternated with Jameis. Went to the Cowboys. Played when Dak got hurt. But Andy Dalton has a lot of experience. So Andy Dalton, he knows that you can't do there. He knows exactly what you can and can't do in this league. Bryce Young is still figuring that out. Andy Dalton knows, dog, even with a good offensive line, you're not going to be able to hold the ball more than 3.5 seconds, period. Andy Dalton is going to get rid of the football. He got sacked sometimes, 3 times only, but the pressure was way worse. He got out the pocket when he needed to. He stepped up and scrambled when he had to. He stood in there and delivered the ball. He's realized that, okay, these dudes are fast. They're big. My offensive line is not that good. I'm going to have to make throws getting hit from the pocket 9 times out of 10 if we're going to win this game. Bryce Young hasn't figured that out. Some of it has to do with him being small. Some of it has to do with him not trusting the offensive line and realizing that, hey, this is the way it's going to be sometimes. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it's going to be sometimes. You have to be able to operate around chaos. And I hope if Bryce Young takes anything away, that's what it is. You literally have to just sit in the pocket. Ideally, with a smaller quarterback, our offensive line steps up and makes plays because he's not going to be able to sustain sitting in the pocket and getting killed. But Andy Dalton literally sat in the pocket and delivered. No quitting him. He sat there, delivered. I don't know how many times we saw his arm get hit as he threw, and he was still throwing it. A couple times, that's what forced the incompletion. Andy Dalton understands that these guys are fast. Andy Dalton was a runner in college. He was more of a runner than Bryce Young in college. But even he realized that you had to sit in there. They said the stat Andy Dalton ran for over 1,500 yards at TCU in 4 years. This man's been in the league over 10 years and barely has 1,500 yards rushing then. He realized that you have to sit in the pocket and deliver. That's just the difference between a vet and a rookie. A rookie has to figure that stuff out. That's just what it is. But the game plan of ending up passing 58 times per game is embarrassing. 58 times is not a recipe for success for any team in the NFL, especially on the road. Like, my thing is, the one thing that Frank Wright might have picked up from Doug Peterson and Andy Reid is the refusal to run the ball. Like, any sign of resistance, and we're giving up on the run. We were down by a possession at the most for what, 2.5 quarters? They didn't get that touchdown until after that missed field goal in the third quarter. So 2.5 quarters, almost 3. And even after that, going into the fourth, we were only down 2 points. His refusal to commit to trying to run the ball, it sucks. And I think that takes away a lot of confidence from your offensive line. There's no diversity to the run game. Miles is dancing a lot. But you have to be stubborn with the run. You're not going to gash teams every play. You have to be stubborn with the run game. You have to be stubborn. But I'm not going to lie. Andy made a great point. Passing for 58 times is not ideal, but putting yourself behind the sticks constantly with 8 mental errors of false starts, that's going to, it's hard to call run plays. I'm not going to, like I said, completely blame Wright for not trying to run the ball because it wasn't pretty all the time. More often than not, it was short gains. But you can't count on short gains when it's 1st and 15 because you got a false start, or 2nd and 12 because you got a false start. So the penalties really put them in a hole to the point that it's almost impossible to call run plays. You put yourself in a position where it's impossible to call run plays. But this is 2 weeks in a row we've just refused to commit to it when the game was close. So I can't even just say it was because of the penalties. We just haven't done it. We just refused to come after the Atlanta game. I don't know what happened. We run for 150 yards against Atlanta, and then we refused to try to commit and establish something there. No diversity. No trying any kind of pulling guards. It's either zone or duo. Zone and duo. No toss plays. No bringing in Chuba. Like, we had a balance with our running backs against Atlanta, and that seemed to be working. But we haven't been back to that. Why is Chuba in the doghouse? Dave subjected Chuba to being a third down running back when he caught the ball today. I'm not gonna lie, but his hands aren't always dependable. But why are we not mixing it up with the backs? That's not even on Wright. That's on Deuce Staley. I love Deuce. I love the mentality. I think he's a great coach, but he's in charge of the rotation. We got to call it as we see him there. Like, why is Chuba not being a part of the equation? What do we have? 40-something rushing yards? 44 rushing yards on 14 attempts. We ran 72 plays, 14 rushing yards on 44 attempts. What happened? Why? Like, Chuba is the most no-nonsense running back I've ever seen. This dude does not make moves. He's literally just going to go north to south as fast as he can. And that catches defenses off guard, which is why he's able to be effective at times. He's not flashy. He doesn't have the wiggle. He's not going to dance like Miles or try to bounce it outside like that, like Miles all the time. He's literally no nonsense down. You see when he catches passes, he's going north and south. You need that sometimes. It doesn't have to be pretty. You just need him to come in and change up the pace. We've seen it be effective this season. Why have we not gone back to it? Why not? And I understand game flow and stuff like that causes you to drop back and throw the ball. But my goodness. My goodness. And dropping back 58 times, that's offensive linemen do not like pass blocking, man. They do not. They don't. Because you're guessing, you're catching, whatever. When you're running the ball, you're firing out the ball. You're moving that guy in front of you. You're moving him out the way. It's a mentality standpoint. It's a mentality standpoint. When you can lean on another grown man, move them out the way for the guy that you blocking for to go get yards, it sends a message. It does. Do you know how embarrassing that is as a grown man to let another grown man move you out the way? Just think about it like a matter of fact, as plain as day. Like, don't think about it as, oh, it's a run play, da-da-da. No. The concept is you're just taking the guy in front of you, moving him out the way, and making room. The defender is in the way for the guy behind you. You want the guy behind you to go where that guy in front of you is there at. So you got to move him out the way. You got to do that. It's a mentality thing. And for better or for worse, that's something that we committed to last year. We knew what time it was. We played to our strengths. It helped us beat Seattle on the road. It controlled the clock because we won the turnover battle last year. I'm looking at the thing. Did we win? I think we won the turnover battle this year. We were better on third down. More passing yards. Run game was the difference. Ball control wasn't that much. Penalties killer. 2 for 2 in the red zone. Yeah, we won the turnover battle just like last year. But we're not leaning into that. So yeah, somebody said, yeah, it's supposed to be Icky's bread and butter. Exactly. We're not leaning. You have to lean into the strengths of your offensive line. But Icky wasn't doing himself any favors by getting these false starts because that puts us in obvious pass scenarios. Because them false starts were unacceptable. 8 false starts. 13 penalties total. 8 false starts. Icky had 4 himself. Then he had a holding as well. I told you guys, it feels like Icky has run back the clock. It feels like he's run back the clock in terms of his development. It seemed like he started over from rookie year. He's been healthy. The coach has been the same in terms of camping. You have to access the system. That's got him befuddled like this, and he's just thinking too much. He's not sticking to his fundamentals. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It seems like he ran back the clock. But receiver-wise, obviously Adam Thielen had a phenomenal game. Very productive for Adam Thielen. Very productive for Adam Thielen. What do you have? 11 catches. 11 catches, 145 yards and a touchdown. 31 fantasy points. He was very productive. We had a DJ Chark sighting in a big way. I think, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that Bryce has to learn. Andy Dalton realizes that when you have guys one-on-one in the league, sometimes you literally just have to throw it up. Like, the rules of the game are so slanted towards the offense. These wide receivers are so good at toe tapping and making catches. And these defenders are just so like clueless sometimes when the ball is in the air. Andy Dalton realized that a couple times a game, you literally have to just throw it up. You're either going to get a flag, which we got sometimes, or DJ Chark is going to make phenomenal sideline catches, which he did a couple of times as well. Like, sometimes you just have to throw it up. And like I said, that's going to be something to learn for Bryce. You have to keep it in play and throw it towards the sideline, but sometimes you literally just have to throw it up. Sometimes you just got to throw it up. And like I said, hopefully Bryce can figure that out. But getting the ball out quick, making decisions quick, and you just got to, sometimes you can't be, looking at Andy today and looking at Bryce, it almost seems like Bryce, I mean, obviously he's a rookie, and he seems to be such a heady guy that he wants to be perfect, and it ain't going to be perfect. Andy Dalton is not called the Red Rifle for no reason. He is a gunslinger. He takes some chances, but he hangs in the pocket and delivers and deals. He knows where his check down is. He knows who the underneath guys are. He has that clock in his head. Like, oh, crap, I got to get rid of this ball. But there's things that vet quarterbacks understand about the game that rookies just have to have a learning curve for. So I expected Andy Dalton to actually play as well as he did. If you saw what I saw at camp, Andy Dalton had a great camp. He had a great camp. So it's going to take some time for Bryce just to learn. And hopefully, like I said, if he takes away anything from this game, it'll be that. But like I said, shout out to Andy Dalton for navigating that pocket, navigating the rush. And Josh makes a phenomenal point. Seattle has one of the worst defenses in the league right now. And my thing is, some people are saying, "Oh, Bryce Young, they're probably trying to bench him to protect him, or he's not really hurt." I'm like, why would they put him through the ringer with two of the tougher defenses in the NFL, but then bench him, quote unquote, like y'all saying, against one of the bottom 3 ranked defenses in the league? Why would they do that? That doesn't make sense. Use your brain, man. Use your brain. Bryce is hurt. But operationally, you can still see how Andy Dalton, because the pressure was the same. The pressure might have been worse. The pressure might have been worse than we've seen in a minute. Andy Dalton was getting killed. Andy Dalton was getting killed. But like I said, as a vet, he understands that you have to sit in the pocket and deliver. Watch Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins gets destroyed, but he knows that you have to just sit in the pocket and deliver. It just comes with the game. That's why they get paid millions of dollars, $250 million. You get hit and you can't defend yourself. Most of the time you're getting hit with your ribs open, your arm up in the air. It just comes with the territory of learning how to play quarterback. And it's going to take some time. But Andy Dalton, with all that experience compared to Bryce, you could see the difference with the eye test. Andy Dalton understands that everybody's fast. Andy Dalton understands that you have a better chance of just sitting there taking hits than trying to run away from everybody. But like I said, the quick decision making and stuff like that is whatever. Injuries, Mingo with the concussion. That was a big hit on the sideline, man. That was a big hit on the sideline. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's okay. But he needs some of the same reasons that Bryce, like I said, probably could learn something. Mingo needs to speed up the clock in his head. I don't think he always runs routes with a sense of urgency. He doesn't realize that these quarterbacks don't have but so long in the pocket. Sometimes he's on cruise control. And when he doesn't always expect the ball as well. Sometimes he drops passes because they're on him so quick. But like I said, he doesn't have the urgency. If you run your route with urgency and expect the ball's not going to surprise you when it gets there and leave a potential for a drop. You have to run with more precision. You have to run with more urgency. Understand that somebody's waiting on you to do your thing. Understand that somebody's waiting on you to do your thing. So you have to hurry up. But overall offense, man, it was improvement just in terms of getting explosive plays. Like, my goodness. Finally, some explosive plays down the field. A big play to Chark seemed such like a refresher. But the lack of composure, the lack of discipline. Reich said that they tried to practice and simulate the noise all week. It didn't work. It didn't work. He even admitted himself. He admitted himself that he had never seen somebody get 4 false starts. He admitted himself that he had never seen somebody like Icky get 4 false starts. That's crazy. And I love y'all in the comments playing shoulda, coulda, woulda about Stroud. Like, one, hindsight is 2020. And do you think Stroud would have been able to operate with the lack of weapons we have and the pressure that we have? Who can? Who can? Who can operate in those conditions? Let's be for real. Like, y'all don't understand how much environment plays a factor. Legit, everybody's a system quarterback. Because if you're not in the right system, with the right pieces and stuff around you, you're not going to make plays. But regardless, the penalties, they got to be cleaned up. I remember back when Ron Rivera was the coach, we were one of the most disciplined teams in the NFL. And Pete Carroll's teams are notorious for being undisciplined. But shoot, we showed them today, huh? 13 penalties. They had 8. But offensively, man, I expected more because we're going to talk about the defense. The defense played well enough. But let's talk about defense because it's different. It's different because C.J. Henderson got hurt. Frankie Louvu got hurt. Xavier Woods got hurt. These are devastating injuries. These are devastating injuries. Because we were already short, obviously, with J.C. Horn. But when you have to move Dante obviously to the outside to line up on DK Metcalf, just by sure measurables, it's not a recipe for success. It's not a recipe for success. It's not. But I'm happy that some guys stepped up. Deion Jones, he stepped up in place of Louvu, made a pick, made some plays. Said Seahawks had key guys hurt too. It's not an excuse. Yes, it is. It is an excuse when you have margin of error this big. We have a margin of error this big. The Seahawks went to the playoffs last year. They have a veteran quarterback. They have playmakers. They have multiple running backs. They don't have a margin of error of this much. They don't. We have a margin of error of this much. So any kind of injury is going to be exponentially greater of an effect to us than any other team, especially like the Seahawks. I mean, Frankie Lou, arguably your best player on defense. The way he's been playing, arguably the best player on defense, and he's gone. Xavier Woods, known communicator in the secondary, hurt. C.J. Henderson, the only guy with decent length, injured. So now you got little old Troy Hill and little old Dante Jackson trying to guard DK Metcalf, who's created in a laboratory. You see, I look like watching a cartel murder video. Look in the chat. But you mean to tell me that a defense that holds the team to 5 field goals? 5 field goals. Bending but not breaking. 5 field goals. Into what? Midway through the third? Midway through the third, you're holding the 5 field goals. That's not good enough to win? That's not good enough? Especially as down bad as we were? The defense played competitive enough. The thing that changed the game was that missed field goal. Let's look at Seattle's drives. 5 field goals is still 2 TDs. Yes, 2 TDs. On 5 possessions, 15 points. Y'all want teams to be the 85 Bears so bad. Y'all not understanding how the NFL works. Every rule is slanted against the defense. First drive for Seattle, 3 and out. Second drive, 50 yards, field goal. Third drive, after coming off a 3 and out, 8 plays, field goal. Another 3 and out by our offense. Defense comes right back on the field, 6 plays, 46 yards, hold them to a field goal. Next drive for our offense, a touchdown. We finally get a lead. We get a lead because of a touchdown. What happens? The defense gets a pick to reward the offense. What does the offense do? They gain 2 yards and kick a field goal. They didn't do it. They gained 2 yards from when they got the ball and kicked the field goal. Just like last week when we got that pick. Barely moved the ball. Next drive. Seattle moves it down the field, 54 yards, field goal. Next play, 5 plays, Panthers punt. Only 43 seconds of possession. The defense is going to get tired after a while. Next thing, kneel by Seattle took a halftime. First play coming out the third quarter. 3 and out, the offense gains 1 yard, so the defense gets right back on the field. The defense still stands tall. This is the beginning of the third quarter. Hold them to a field goal after 4-minute possession. Coming back, the offense moves the ball only 38 yards. Missed field goal. You put Seattle at the 45-yard line. And that's when the defense finally breaks. The time that they didn't have a long field to go, the first time they had a short field, that's when the defense broke. In my opinion, I would have punted. I'm not a big Eddie guy as far as long distance field goals. A lot of y'all criticize Wright. A lot of y'all criticize Wilkes for being conservative and punting sometimes from the 35. But when you don't trust your kicker and you know that, hey, our defense doesn't have a lot of room for error because they're going to get tired, because they have to do the heavy lifting. Let me protect them by giving teams the far field. I have an all-world punter. Let me punt the ball, pin the offense deep. Every time in this game, when we pin them deep, our offense, at worst, gave up a field goal. And we've been in the game. But the one time that I give them excellent field position at the 45-yard line, my defense finally breaks. Come on, man. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. And of course, it got ugly. After that touchdown, 13-22. It got ugly. Because then the injuries started mounting up. You're getting tired. They're leaning on you. Fourth quarter. I mean, after that missed field goal, touchdown. We answered back with a touchdown, but fourth quarter, touchdown. Next drive, punt. Next thing you know, we force a 3 and out, still hanging in there. Give it back to the team. We turn it over on downs, -5 yards. Next drive by them, touchdown. And that pretty much wraps it up. They go for 2, and it's a 3-possession game, and it's done. I'm just saying. There's only so much, and like I said, the rules are slanted against the defense. Your offense has to be competent enough to be able to get you some touchdowns. If your defense is forcing that many stops, they're bending but not breaking that much with the lack of guys like the playmakers like Frankie Louvu being gone. Frankie Louvu is probably your biggest playmaker on defense. We talk about playmakers on offense. Frankie Louvu is clearly the best playmaker on defense. He rushes the passer. He forces fumbles. He can get picks and coverage. He's always around the football. He gets a hip pointer. Eddie, you said Eddie is 7 for 8 from 50. Okay, but Eddie also, of all kickers that attempted 30 attempts last year, he has the least amount of 50-yard attempts. He had 2 attempts from 50 yards last year. That's because coaches can't trust him from that distance. They don't even try. That's my point. Just because he's been proficient when he has had the attempts doesn't mean it's still not an indictment. 22 kickers tried 30 attempts last year. He had the least amount of kicks beyond 50 yards. 2. 2 of them. There's a small margin of error for this team. So those penalties, you can't do that. You can't not get a touchdown when your defense actually gives you a turnover. You can't go 3 and out, getting negative plays. You can't not run the ball to give them extra break and control the clock. You got to compliment them. At least as an offense, you got to compliment your defense. That's time of possession. You run the ball more, it gives their team less possessions. It gives their team less possessions. So that's why you need to run the ball and control the clock. But anyway, shout out to Deion Jones, man. Tackles for loss, INT, very active, man, filling in, man. It's tough. And I don't think it was some phenomenon or indictment on people for him to come off the practice squad. You got to realize there's a financial aspect for him for him to get cut and brought back. Because clearly he can play. So why do you think nobody else signed him? It's because he already had a back of a napkin agreement with the Panthers. There's rules to if a vet is on your squad in week 1, there's a certain amount of salary that's guaranteed for him. But if you cut him and then bring him right back in week 2, he still gets his money. Or you may say something to him like, hey, we're going to give you a signing bonus to get you the same amount of money. It just might not affect your cap space the same way. So this is a strategic move of reason why Deion Jones was cut, brought back, and then he walks in and starts making plays. It's not because they're just a bad front office and they think that, oh, Deion Jones is just trash. There's a reason behind the things, man. So I just want to clear that part up. But shout out to him. But, man, our secondary, man, they had some blown coverages at some of the worst times. Like Dante Jackson, man, falling for the cheese to Kenneth Walker, that hurt. That was a big one. That I don't even know what drive that was. But him going for the cheese, man, and then letting Kenneth Walker, running back, go right down the sideline and get pieced up. That hurt. That hurt. Like that hurt, man. Like why would you take the cheese and the dude was already covered? You jumped on the out route when the guy was already covered. Goes over the top. CJ Henderson, he actually made a decent play and didn't get a call, but he hurts himself. So now we got miniature corners who are too scared to play up close on DK Metcalf because he'll just little bro them. So they're giving him too much cushion. I got to give credit. Dante almost had a pick when he was guarding Lockett. And unfortunately for us, I would have felt a lot better about CJ Henderson on Metcalf and Dante Jackson on Lockett. A smaller speed finesse guy. That's somebody that Dante would match up better with. But there's guys that Dante is not a lockdown corner. There's guys that Dante is just a bad matchup for. Really, really, really great route runners. That's why you saw Calvin Ridley giving him fits. And then bigger guys. When you combine that with guys like Julio Jones, that's a scary sight. That's why you see some games where he had to guard Julio was ugly. Speed guys who aren't as shifty, they're going to try to run by you or deeper routes. Dante is solid. But there's a population of wide receiver skill sets that he just is not good against. He is not good against. And when you have to, injuries put you into bad positions. J.C. Horn last year, bigger physical wide receiver, had 2 picks? No, he had a pick against Geno Smith early on. Pretty much locked down DK Metcalf. I mean, you can't say that J.C. Horn ain't a game changer because the game is definitely different when he's not in. The game is definitely different when he's not in. So J.C. Horn is definitely a game changer. He's a game changer. We don't know when JC's coming back, unfortunately. Mike Evans is, like I said, one of those bigger wide receivers. Like I said, if he's bigger, Dante's gonna have trouble. If he's a shifty route runner, like a Olave or a who else? A Calvin Ridley. Shoot, if he's guarding Addison next week, it's gonna be tough too. But anybody that's speed trying to run by him, you saw Miko Hardeman in preseason, he did well. It's certain. It's just a population of wide receivers that he's not gonna have a chance against. He will not match up well against. He will not perform well. As soon as y'all realize that's what Dante is, the less and less y'all will be disappointed in him. Because I know what to expect when certain guys line up against him. I think that's the difference between me and a lot of the fans that hate Dante. I know exactly what type of receivers are going to give Dante Jackson hell. I know it. So I don't get surprised. I think that's the difference. And I think that's why y'all so emotional now. I think some people are saying that Frank Wright is worse than Matt Rule. They're saying that we were better off with Rule. Somebody a couple weeks ago said we should have kept Baker. The shoulda, coulda, wouldas are happening. I think expectations were just so high. So the letdown is crazy. The fall from the high is crazy. We're in a hangover state right now. We were drinking that Kool-Aid all offseason, and we're in a state of hangover right now. I'm disappointed too. But I think after preseason, I had to come to Jesus meeting with myself. And I realized that things are going to take time. I told y'all it's going to take time. Like I said, I said it before, I'll say it again. With Steve Wilks, y'all saying we should have kept Wilks. It took us a couple weeks to figure out who we were. We went through 3 different identities last year. We were doing the Matt Rule, Ben McAdoo thing with Baker. And then he got fired. And so we tried P.J. Walker throwing screens left and right against the Rams. That didn't work. We tried the thing. We tried to throw the ball around the yard against the Falcons with P.J. Almost worked. But then we said, all right, let's just run the ball. Like, we can't trust that quarterback. We had to get rid of Robbie. Let's just run the ball. And we just ran the ball and ran the ball. It worked. So we leaned on it. We figured out that's who we were. We figured out that our defense has little margin for error as well. So the best way to protect them is to try to keep them fresh by running the ball. Running the ball, you don't have 18 million possessions. When you run the ball, those 5 possessions where we forced them to a field goal today, that may get you further than the beginning of the third quarter. When you run the ball, 5 possessions and holding them to a field goal may get you towards the back half of the third quarter. And it's a low-scoring, ugly game, but you give yourself a chance in the fourth, and your defense is fresher. Why do you think our defense keeps folding in the second half? They're tired, man. It doesn't matter how much rest they got beforehand. It's the death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's the, okay, we bent but didn't break, held in the 3. Can y'all get us a lead? Then we can start pass rushing more. But the fact that we can't get a lead from the offense and we can't get scored for the offense, the defense is off balance. They have to worry about stopping the run, which they already struggle with. They don't know when it's time to rush the passer because the offense that they're going against can afford to be balanced. So there's a formula. There's a formula to football, man. There's reasons behind everything. That's why you run the ball. It ain't cute, but it takes possessions out the game. It takes time out the game. But the secondary, man, oh God, we were thin, and we still thin. We're gonna be seeing Boodle. Are we gonna be seeing Boodle trying to cover Jefferson? We just elevated Boodle. Is he gonna be trying to cover Jefferson next week? Because Jefferson is one of them guys I told you about. Jefferson is one of those guys I was trying to tell you about that Dante is not a great matchup with. The sad part about it is Addison, he's not great either. I think Addison's a little bit more unproven and not as polished as a Calvin Ridley, but him and Calvin Ridley are like pretty much the same receiver in my eye. So the offense sustained drives today, no excuses for the defense. I disagree. When they put drives together, they did sustain them. They converted 10 third downs. But how many 3 and outs did they have? 1 3 and out, 2 3 and outs, 3 3 and outs, 5 and out, and 4 3 and outs, 5 3 and outs. So 5 3 and outs, including one where they got a field goal out of it because the defense got a pick for them. Wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty. Only three first downs from rushing. That's crazy. So let's talk about the pass rush. Because y'all over here slandering Burns. Let's talk about the pass rush. Pass rush, like I said, when the game is in doubt and we set up obvious pass scenarios, our pass rush was solid. YGM, oh my goodness. Let's look. Y'all know me. I'm right about a lot of stuff, but when somebody proves me wrong on a day, I got to give them a round of applause. Shout out to YGM. Shout out to YGM. Hey, man. hey, shout out to YGM. YGM, if anybody else, look, and it sucks because, like, they had backup O-linemen in, and, like, we felt like we should have took more advantage, and I agree. We did make some plays and heat up Geno early on in the game. But the only person I felt like said, okay, these are backups. Let's take advantage and feast was YGM. YGM was the guy that YGM went crazy today, man. I had to check the tape, but YGM had a great game. He's been in my doghouse. I think he's been in the fan base's doghouse. So I have to give him the credit when it's due. He's the only one that pretty much looked at it and said, these are backups. Let's take advantage every time. Because it seemed like our guys, the starters, they only took advantage when they told themselves like, hey, let's get home. I want to get home. Let's do it. But YGM played bully ball pretty much the whole time because he realized that these are inferior opponents. And that goes for Burns. That goes for Houston. Derek Brown, they did it earlier when they wanted to. But I think they're playing a lot of snaps as well, and they're getting tired too because they're not bringing it every snap. And I don't think they ain't trying. I just think they gassed. And they're not making their mind up mentally to be like, I'm not going to let this backup beat me. These dudes are second string, third string. They have one starter on their offensive line that's healthy. I'm making my mind up that I'm not going to be blocked by these guys. That has to be the mentality. Like, I'm going to give the dude a cross from me. I'm going to give them, every time I'm going to give them hell. Because when they turned it on, they had Geno running for his life. They had Geno, like one of the first plays of the game, Derek Brown, very disruptive up the middle, made a play. We forced a 3-and-out off rip. Shout out to Burns for getting his sack and getting some other pressures as well. But I just think maybe the guys are playing too many snaps. Because what's going on? I mean, the defense as a whole, yeah, they're fading off, period. Once things down the stretch get a little bit tiring, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. But look, to me, I think the effort as a whole defensively, up until that final, quarter and a half, I can live with that. I can live with that. I can live with that. Yeah, Barno played a lot today, actually. Barno played a lot today. They used a lot of bodies, but it just still seemed like they played a lot of snaps. Like Burns and the starters played a lot of snaps. They did use a lot of bodies today. They used some YGM. They used Barno. But the one thing I'm a little disappointed on, like I said, the effort overall I was fine with up until, like I said, the last quarter, probably. But the thing that was most disappointing was probably stopping the run. Stopping the run has been like, oh my gosh. It's been something that we can't get right. Stopping the run, man, it's just tackling, being in the right position. And it may, like I said, this is a system that's a little bit different than what we're used to. So it may take some more time than I thought to learn how to play your gap and a half. It's not you stay in your gap and you just stay there. No, it's gap and a half. Gap and a half is a little bit different than what we used to. But goodness, man, like we've given up 150 yards rushing consistently. If we give up that much run game to the Vikings, man, I'm going to know something. But the most frustrating thing for me is when we get penetration in the backfield, miss those tackles, then they turn that into a positive play. And Justin Houston play was a terrible call, and we're going to talk about the refs. But getting penetration, getting a negative play, but missing the opportunity, and then that guy turned into a positive play, it really grinds my gears. It grinds my gears. It does. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen? They got to figure something out because we just lost. Luckily we got linebacker depth, but we lost some studs. But special teams real quick. I was frustrated with the coverage. We got down there. We missed. And DJ Dallas is a running back. He's huge. I don't think guys are used to that big of a guy returning punts. And you don't really see big running backs like that returning punts. So I understand. But dog, we were missing so many tackles on special teams. I was getting pissed. We just diving at legs. Like, put a pad on that big dude. Even when y'all did early, y'all missed. That was pissing me off. But like I said, I think that missed kick by Eddie was huge. Because you try from 55, that means that once you turn it over and miss, the opposing team gets the ball at that spot. So they got it at the 45-yard line. And they did not score a touchdown until after that. Once they had phenomenal field position, they scored the touchdown and the floodgates open. The floodgates open. I would have kicked the ball, pinned them deep, because I don't trust Eddie's leg beyond 50. That's just me. He made a couple last week. I made a couple last week from 50 against the Saints, but it's different. You're not in the swirling weather and rain of the Pacific Northwest. You're on the road. You're not at home. You're not used to this environment. It's a career long. Was that a career long attempt? He doesn't have the kicking power to be he's under 50. Eddie's gonna light it up. He gonna light it up. But beyond 50, it affects your decision making. He was 7 for 7 in his career from 50 yards. Before that. But why? People are saying he hasn't missed from 50. Why did he only take 7 attempts in his career from 50? Why? Because teams don't trust him to take those long field goals, guys. Like I said, he went 2 for 2 from 50 yards last season. But if you look at the numbers, Out of all kickers that attempted at least 30 kicks, he had the least amount of attempts at 50. Because, and y'all were getting mad, like I said, y'all were getting mad at Wilkes for being conservative, for punting from the 35. Because he didn't trust the kicker to make a 52-yard field goal. And he knew that would give the opposing team great field position. I wouldn't have minded the punt. I wouldn't have minded. But that was kind of a turning point, I think. Because like I said, they had not scored a touchdown until after the missed kick. And they got the ball to 45. Because if you punt, you have an all-decade punter, maybe the best punter of all time, not even an exaggeration. You have one of the best punters of all time, who's one of the kings of pinning guys. You give your defense a long field to defend all game. They've defended it. They've kept them out the end zone when you give them a long field. The one time that you don't give them a long field, they give up a touchdown. So you have to trust your kicker. You can't trust kickers. Never. Never trust your kicker. Never. That's the mistake. Never trust your kicker. Never trust them. Because they had never, like I said, they hadn't scored until they got the ball at damn near midfield. Sorry, bud. I don't think you following, bro. But do you have a kicker you can't trust? Exactly. You never trust kickers. You got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive at the end of the games when you're trying to sit on a win. Don't trust them. Trust your defense. They've been playing good all game. They held them out. They kept them out the end zone all game. But let's talk about something. Let's talk about the positive. Let's talk about what we can build on. Because if y'all want to hear 100% negative stuff, there's plenty of stuff to talk about. What we can build on. The passing game finally showed signs of life. So we've narrowed it down that it's not 100%. Just our receivers aren't just 100% trash. They can make some plays. They can make some. We've seen explosive plays. We saw Chart down the field take advantage of a blown coverage. We saw Chart make a miracle outside shoulder catch. Thielen was even more productive than before. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Luke Case. I ain't got nothing to say. Just take him out. Hey, man. Appreciate that. It's hard out here. It's hard out here. But the passing game showed life. Explosive plays. Like, so they actually can make plays. So operationally, we just have to figure out to keep putting them in more positions where they can actually move the ball through the air. We have to figure out what needs to happen for us to be able to move the ball through the air. That's what it comes down to. But it can't be feast or famine. Like, it almost felt like, Thielen came up with plays. I'm not going to lie. Thielen was the only guy coming up with like regular plays. But it seemed like everything else was either a big play or nothing from everybody else. Like, we can't have feast and famine. We have to figure out how to get some individual chunk plays, like some 15-yarders, some 20-yarders there, 12-yarders there. Give me something for 8. Like, mix it up. It can't just be Chark over the top, Chark over the top. Okay, here's Thielen with another chunk to move the chains. Like, we have to get some easy, simple passing game involved. Let some guys work after the catch. We have to build on top of that. My takeaway, what we can build on is the defense being solid early. Like I said, despite the injuries and loss of the playmakers, they, like I said, 5 field goals. 5 field goals. The first time they bend but didn't break, despite our secondary being literally Swiss cheese. The secondary was Swiss cheese, but we still held them to 5 field goals through about 3 or 2.5 quarters. The offense has to provide more, man, of a running game to help them. If the defense is run out of gas, because they clearly showed that they can make plays. It's not like they were just incapable of stopping the Seahawks from the jump. They made plays. They got some stops. They got picked. They put them in positions. It's just you have to protect them. Control the clock. Limit the amount of possessions that the other team can get so the defense doesn't get tired. That's how you do it. Sometimes the best defense can be a good offense. Protect them. Protect them. Shout out to Mr. Luke Cage for the super chat again. I can't do no air horns because some of y'all told me y'all got kids that be sleeping this time of night. I appreciate that. I'm trying to look out. Said they got to find a real running game. Moves the Zavala back to the right. The run sets up the pass. If you're going to be old school, do that. That's what is legit what I said earlier. Like, it seems like Frank is almost calling plays aimlessly. Like, I think that Thomas Brown would at least run some stuff that will set up other things. At worst, run the ball to set up the pass. You ain't got to be cute to window dress and set up stuff. Run the ball to set up the pass. Even against Atlanta, we ran for 150 yards, and then we only play action, 11% of the time? Like, what do you run the ball for if you're not going to use it to set up the passing game? Yeah, Zavala on the right side. I was kind of behind leaving him on the right because the left, he hasn't been great. And I'm not gonna, I can't compare it yet. I'll probably have to look at this film to see how bad it was. But I think the reason why we moved him to the left is because the guys we had replaced it on the right. That's the best we could do. Now, when is Corbett coming back? I don't know. But shoot, like, what's the point of having you gotta use the guards though? Like, pull them, let them pull around and lead block for your running back in the hole. We ain't gotta be zone and try to finesse. Run some power. Run a little bit more of that. So, like, we got to lean into the running game. But I think we can build on that. Like I said, the passing game, I love seeing Chark come to life. Somebody said the positive Saints and Falcons lost. That's true, and the Bucs are probably going to lose, we think. Stranger things have happened, but we did not take advantage. Today, we could have got right back into the division race. Had we won? Could have got right back into the division race. As ugly as we've looked, had we won today, we 1-2. Everybody else 2-1. Derek Carr, hurt his shoulder. He had to go to the hospital today. They're going to be having Jameis Winston. The Falcons, they finally got exposed. Desmond Ridder finally got exposed. Their defense still looks solid, but Desmond Ridder finally got exposed. That they can't count on him to throw the ball down the field. We just didn't have, when we played them, we just didn't have the offense to actually make it an issue. Detroit got a lead and put the pressure on them. They put the pressure on them to make Ridder throw the ball, and they shut down the run. It's the formula. D-Cash, what up, though? What's good, brother? Say, appreciate that. I said, like to have. Appreciate that. Zion said he's starting to hate this team. Ain't no reason to hate this team, bro. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, and I love the team. I love football. I love the game. Y'all gotta get y'all minds right, man. Y'all gotta get y'all mind right. Like, these are sports. I love being emotionally tied to the team, but if it's causing y'all more stress, is making y'all hate it, y'all gotta let it go. Sports is supposed to be a type of escape, a time to let your mind unwind, let stuff unravel. Life is already crazy enough. Inflation is running crazy. Jobs don't want to pay nothing. A dozen of eggs costs $8. You can't get a gallon of milk is more expensive than a gallon of gas. There's way too many things going wrong in this world for y'all to let your outlet cause you more stress. And I feel it too. I love this team, man. I do. I want to see them win. I'm frustrated just the fact of that. Somebody said at least we didn't get set. Yeah, I mean, had we given up 70, that was up. But y'all can't let y'all escape from all the trash that's going on in this world. Get y'all like this. Rent going crazy. Thomas said rent going crazy. Life is hectic. It says it's a tough life. Yes, life is hectic, man. 2023 is crazy. 2023 is crazy, man. But I say it every stream. I say it every stream. Better days are ahead. Better days are ahead. It's easy to get caught into the negative, but I think it's just our expectations were way too high, man. He says we're supposed to release stress. Just don't watch the Panthers. Hey, look, sport. That's why. See, that's the difference between me. That's the difference between me. I'm a fan of the game. So the Panthers do be hurting, but I enjoy watching football. I like football season. I like being able to drink for multiple hours. I like sitting in front of my TV, watching the game that I love, that I grew up playing and watching. I love it. I can't play no more. So I can't let it make me depressed. Better days are ahead, man. Better days are ahead. Like this early schedule is gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. Like I said, the Panthers still figuring things out. Like I said, I think the expectations is the reason why people feel so low. You can't get, and not saying I didn't fall for it too. Like I said, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Like I said, it took me until about training camp, seeing them, and then preseason to realize that, okay, it's going to take us some time to figure out what the heck we are and what the heck we're going to do. It took me some time. And I realized, like, okay, like I said, the timeline may not be what we want, but it's going to take time. as soon as you adjust them expectations, you'll be better. Because, I mean, like it or not, there's been some progress in some places. Not everywhere. Not in a lot of places. But the passing game showed an uptick. Andy Dalton threw for more yards in the first half than we've had in a game so far. So he doubled that up. So we've seen that our receivers can do things. So there's been some progress. Not much. Not as fast or as much as we want. But progress has been made nevertheless. Progress has been made nevertheless. Like I said, better days are ahead. Sleep on it, guys. I may jump on here in the morning and do an overreaction Monday. I'll probably do an overreaction Monday in the morning. Maybe we'll think about it. Just to look, see what I see online about the overreactions and do overreaction or underreaction. But better days are ahead, guys. Sleep on it. Get your feelings out tonight. We back at it again, starting next week. Getting ready for Minnesota. All right? I'm going to holler at y'all. Love y'all. Peace.